Show, where real sports talk meets royalty.
The Fever gets smoked by Valkyrie in Caitlin Clark's return, and King Joe breaks it all down.
Took some overtime to get the time right. Had to lose a little mind to get my mind right. Finally realized, but in hindsight, you wanted the limelight. Me priority never once. You kept close but never really wasn't. I accept you like a focus. Agree with all your choices. Needed you to need me. Needed you to see me. Until I found the right direction, I think my reflection would agree. Had to find the me in me.
Dajorpay Sport by Kingdavidjordan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, it's your boy, it's your boy, Kingdavidjordan. How's everybody doing? Oh, listen, welcome, and thank you. Thank you for joining the King Joe Sports Show, where the taste come with the crowd, and the truth doesn't need a referee. If you're watching right now, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a crowd emoji in the chat to let me know you're a part of the kingdom. Oh, we had little technical difficulties at the beginning. A couple of technical difficulties, but hopefully we got all those worked out. Hopefully everything is good. It's good to be here. I'm your boy, King Joe. Kingdavidjordan, man. Oh, and I must say, I'm looking kind of spiffy. I said, what's on the coat? You know what I'm saying? I'll get on let off. It look kind of spiffy today. Look at that. We had a little business to take care of. Big news coming. We had a little business to take care of. But listen, man, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate every last one of you guys. And we got to talk. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Because you know, I tried to warn you. I tried to warn everyone. I tried to give you guys the heads up. And I tried to warn you guys about what was coming. And I told you, I said, Caitlin Clark's return wasn't going to magically fix everything. You know? And today, in today's afternoon game, it showed that. It proved it. The Fever got smoked. Not nudged. Not beat. They got smoked. And Caitlin's out there. She's trying, and she's clearly just getting not 100%. Although she doesn't have all her errors, she's still, you know, kind of labor, not in shape yet, not in game shape. She even talked about it after the game where she says, "Hey, I'm not quite in game shape yet. You know, it's gonna take a little while." But you know, you also have to say, what's up with Stephanie White? I mean, since it's struggling with the rotations, she's doing Sudoku on the sideline. Arri getting all these minutes. The Valkyries are out there looking like Golden State on a mission. And we really had to break it down. You know what I'm saying? And while the Reese's Pieces, I understand the Reese's Pieces out there, they're smirking. You know, so they having little smiles, you know. We'll talk about Angel Reese a little later in the big news and everything in her game yesterday. We'll talk about that a little later. Reese's Pieces are smirking, they having fun. But the real Indiana Fever fans want answers. And I'm here to tell you I got them. I got you. Right here on the King Joe Sports Show. So please hit the like and subscribe. Please hit the like and subscribe. Now, if you didn't know, the Indiana Fever, they lost today, and they got beat today at the 12 o'clock midday and they were beaten by none other than the Valkyries, 80-61. Veronica Burton had 21 points, 5 3-pointers, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Kayla Thornton had 18 points, 18 rebounds, 18 points, 8 rebounds. And then Caitlin Clark had 10 points and 6 assists. So, yes, the Fever was beaten today. It looked good. It didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all. It actually looked kind of bad. It looked really bad. But what I want you guys to do, listen to me, listen to Katie. Relax. Just relax a little bit. Just relax. Just take it easy. You know what I'm saying? Let me come up. As I come up my coat, just take it easy. You know what I'm saying? This is how I want to show you. Just take it easy. Calm down. Relax a little bit. Everything is gonna be okay. Everything's okay. I think. I hope. I'm prayerful that everything will be okay. I'm prayerful. And I think what I did try to warn you guys ahead of time about what was going to happen. I tried to give you guys the heads up about what we could see possibly coming when Caitlin returned. And I told you, I said, hey, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. People looked at me like I was crazy, like, oh, what do you mean? No, I'm like, no, calm down. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. And I gave you guys the reasoning why it was going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. And I told you, I said, when she comes back, it's going to be an adjustment period because the team is not used to playing with her and playing her style of basketball. The style of basketball that the team has been playing now has been the regular style of the WNBA. It's been the WNBA up to 2 years ago with Caitlin Clark, which is rough. Let's play dirty. Let's slow the game down. Let's play good defense. We'll momentarily run off our defense, and we did. And what you saw today in the game was a Dr. Jekyll. There's really a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Boy, Mr. Hyde and the ugly at the end, right? I mean, it's more Dr. Jekyll than, Mr. Hyde at the end, because what happens is at the end of the first quarter, we were thinking like, okay, this is about to be a blowout. Why? Because Fever's running, they're playing with pace, they get up and down the court. Caitlin has the ball in her hands, sort of. She has the ball in her hands, and they get buckets, an easy shot. Caitlin scores like 5 points in the first 3 minutes, 2 assists. You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah Boston gets a bucket. And we think, okay, all right, we off to the races. And I keep telling you guys, I keep trying to let you guys know this. Stephanie White is struggling. She's really, really struggling. I mean, tremendously struggling. And the truth be told is, she got outcoached by Natalie Nakase today. Easily. And I told y'all last video, Natalie Nakase is a fantastic, an amazing coach. I mean, she's extraordinary. An extraordinary coach. And you saw Stephanie White today get outcoached by Nakase. Now, when we first came out, and I knew it last night, and then I want to talk because I was like, well, what happened? Angel played great, you wasn't there? Blah, 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 blah. Now, listen, we got stranded in Atlanta over the weekend. And then yesterday, I was tired of sleep. Yes, well, Monday, then Tuesday, we had to catch up on some work that I missed Monday. So I said, okay, I'll get you on today, right? And when we sat there, we saw the coach's corner. We saw everything that happened. We saw something that Stephanie White was saying. And then when she said it, I knew it was a problem. Stephanie White got up there and said, hey, man, we're going to try to get Caitlin off the ball. And when she started talking about Caitlin playing off the ball, I was like, it's a problem. I was like, hey, it's gonna be an adjustment. It's really gonna be an adjustment. You know what I'm saying? It's really gonna be an adjustment, right? And what we have to understand in every season, do-rag, it's ebbs and flows in the season. Relax. You don't see me worried. Caitlin Clark fans, Indiana fans, relax. We're gonna be okay. Once we realize that we have Caitlin Clark. And I told you guys last video, and I tried to prepare you. If you don't believe me, go check out my last video. It'll be down there. I tried to prepare y'all and tell you guys, listen, the problem with the Indiana Fever is this. Stephanie White wants to coach her system, but she has a transcendent player that does not play well in her system. And the hardest thing for a coach to do that's a system-oriented coach, the hardest thing for them to do is to adapt to a player. They would rather the players adapt to their system. So much so that even after the game today, Big Doug's Hoop said, hey, man, why don't they just trade Caitlin Clark? So much so, people on X and people on social media are talking about the team is better without Caitlin Clark. And we're all looking at this saying, stop it. Relax. You're overreacting. You're overreacting. It's not Caitlin Clark is fight. Because some people are like, Caitlin Clark has lost her powers. No. Paige Beckers, I saw one post. Paige Beckers is taking Caitlin Clark's slip. No. Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark. Oh, please, guys. Stop it. Just stop it. She's not. What's happening is at the end of the day, you have a coach that's not understanding the player and her personnel. Right? And I know y'all gonna say, oh, here y'all go. Y'all gonna blame the coach. Y'all blaming Stephanie White. When Kaylee wasn't there for 2 games, they won. And I tried to tell you guys, y'all were overreacting on the two games that they won. When they beat Minnesota shot like 29%. I told you guys when they played Las Vegas Aces, the Aces are in disarray so much that they traded for the Alyssa Smith. That's how disarray the Aces are. Right? And now they really in disarray because they said that, I don't know if y'all heard that Asia Wilson hurt her wrist in the game last night, so we're going to see how long she's going to be out or if she's going to be out. But all this stuff is going on, and it's crazy because when you analyze the games and you know basketball, you can sit there and you can tell people exactly what the problem is. And right now the problem is Stephanie White is not adjusting well to having Caitlin Clark. And this happened last year with Christy Size. And this is the only reservation, guys. This is the biggest reservation that we have. And this is the warning that I had to give you guys. And this is the one negative caveat to this conversation that's very nuanced. And that is this. We don't have the Olympic break this year like Christy Size had last year. There's not a gigantic break, month and a half, 2 months break, month break where we can sit there and talk and kind of get things together and work out things and practice and run things and get things where players know. We don't have that advantage this year. And the fact that Caitlin's been hurt also has really also made it difficult for us to kind of figure out what our schemes are, what the rotations are, and more importantly, what our identity is. Right now, the Indiana Fever, more than Caitlin playing bad, more than the defense or the offense, we're having an identity crisis. And that's largely because our coach is coaching to get. It's really, let's be honest. I told you at the beginning of the year, I said it's kind of a break in between the team. You have the old school, then you have the new school, right? And it's something, if y'all watched the draft last night, Caitlin kept saying last night, she likes, bro, the New York Liberty coach, she said she lets him run, shoot, and play fast, right? That's not how Stephanie White wants to play. What you mean, King? If you really remember, I told y'all after they won those games, I said, hey, Stephanie White looks like a totally different coach without Caitlin Clark than she looks with Caitlin Clark. Huh? I said she's more comfortable. And I can't, what I'm trying to tell you guys, she's more comfortable coaching without Caitlin Clark. And it's not just her, it's really in the WNBA altogether. The WNBA has a bunch of coaches that all come from under the same tutelage, pretty much of the same coaches, right? So if you look at, like when I watched the Chicago and Washington game yesterday. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand what's his name, Coach Johnson for the Mystics. he kept running Slim on the off ball. Now, mind you, the first time Slim played Chicago, Slim had 30-something points. Why? She was dominating the ball. But for some reason, that's not the way that these coaches have learned or are trained to coach their teams. Whoever they coached under, that's not the way they would train to coach basketball. And see, it's just like the NBA, right? The NBA had to go through an adjustment period. When Steph Curry came and you had the Golden State Warriors, well, first it started with Mike D'Antoni with the 7 seconds. When he's like, hey, man, we'd rather you take threes or either dunks or threes. Which is like, well, the mid-range game. Well, the mid-range game is always be there if you got mid-range players. It's going to be available to you. But if we hit a high range of threes, it don't matter if they hit mid-range, we're still going to outscore them. Right? But the game had to change because you had Steph Curry, you had Trae Young, you had different players that were pulling for the logo, so the game changed. And you had coaches that were willing to change with the game. And they recognized that the game changed. So now you have a team like Houston that's like, hey, man, we're going to take threes and layups. You know, we're not going to do it. Why? Because this is the best way. And guess what? They end up being one of the top teams in the West. Even if you're looking at how the players now are starting to train and practice, you're seeing them training and practice from a long distance situation where they're shooting more threes and they're working on their handles to get up. But what the WNBA wants to run is motion offense where they're handing the ball off. It's almost like a Princeton offense almost. What Stephanie White wants to run is like a more motion offense. Everybody touch the ball. She said it in an interview yesterday where everybody touches the ball. And it's like, yo, that's not the team that you have. Slow it down, make the game ugly. Let's play good defense, and let's win 75-80. And you're like, no, you got a team that should be averaging 90 points a game. If the Indiana Fever is not scoring no less than 88 points. If they score less than 88 points, then it's something wrong with the game plan. If they score less than 88 points, there's something wrong with the game plan. Because you got 3 scorers on there that should get 20. You got Caitlin, you got Leah, you got Kelsey. They should get 20. But that's not the way they want to play. They want to play slow it down. They want to play tough defense. Let's get in there and let's play tough. And what's happening is, what I'm going to be honest with, Caitlin really needs probably is an innovator. She needs a modern coach. Not one of these recycled jokers that, came from under everybody else. She needs a modern coach. Go to the NBA, find a modern coach that's on the bench, and say, hey, we want you to coach Caitlin Clark. But the W is trying to make themselves, hey, we want to this women's league, blah, blah, blah. Think about it, man. When the Lakers, when the Sparks were good, they had who? Michael Cooper. When Detroit was good, they had who? Beer Lambier. These guys that play. You need somebody that really knows the game, that can orchestrate the game, and get these young ladies out here to play a modern type of game because you have modern type of players. You have Caitlin Clark. You have Paige Beckers. You have Citron. You have all these new modern type of players that play the new style of basketball of today, but you're still trying to coach them like you're playing in 2000. 2010. It's 2025. It's the AI age, ladies and gentlemen. When somebody go and somebody just shake Stephanie and say, hey, you're in 2025. You have one of the youngest teams in the W. I think Washington is actually younger. But that's why, and during the offseason, that's why Stephanie White was up and bringing in DeWanna Bonner. That's why she brought in Natasha Howard. That's why she brought in all veterans. And they tried to put it under the guise of, oh, we need veteran leadership. When the truth be told, who's the veteran leadership on OKC this year? Now, do we need some vets? Yes, but you got to get ones that fit in the system of the players that you have. They bought in Natasha Howard. They bought in Sidney Colson. They bought in the one of Barter. They bought in who's just signed back with the Mercury. That was a travesty. How many? I mean, come on. That was not to make Caitlin feel comfortable. We got to stop this. That was to make Stephanie White feel comfortable. That wasn't to make Caitlin feel. That was to make Stephanie White feel comfortable with her system. At this rate, when I saw Stephanie White talk, I was like, "Oh snap!" She pulled a Christie size. Go listen to the interview she said yesterday. We're having some technical difficulties. I had it queued, but we have some technical difficulties. Sorry if you came in first and we had some technical difficulties. Y'all know how computers work sometimes. But thank you so much for being a part of King Joe Show. If you don't mind, hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm just here to tell all my Indiana fans, Caitlin Clark fans, relax. She hasn't lost her talent. She hasn't lost her mojo. It's just the team is going through an identity crisis. Nobody on the team today played well. And I told you this was going to happen. And the reason is because you have a coach that for when she's out is coaching the team a certain way that doesn't replicate how they play their game when you have Caitlin Clark on the court. It doesn't put your players in the best position. And we knew this was going to, and I told you last video, and y'all got to start, listen, and I hate saying I told you, but listen, guys, I'm trying to share you what I see. Like a lot of people are like, oh, no, I tell you what I see, right? I try to show you my 20 years of coverage, my over 20 years of broadcast journalism, my over 10 years of coaching sports, my lifetime 20 years of playing sports, right? What I'm telling you guys is this. You can tell when the team is not buying into the system. You know why? It's no consistency. See, when you look at the Valkyrie is not as talented as the Indiana Fever. 0%. But the Valkyrie has bought into Natalie Nakasi's system. They bought into it. And guess what she does? She plays with it to her team's strengths. She coaches to her team's strengths. And right now we don't have Stephanie White. It's not coaching to her team's strengths. She's coaching to her own strengths. That's problematic. And listen, I'm going to say it again. Stephanie White is more comfortable with Arri McDonald running the point guard of the team than she is with Caitlin Clark. That's the only reason that Arri McDonald should have started this game today. That's the only reason you can even think, why is Arri starting? We all were interested to see the dynamic of Caitlin, Arri, and Kelsey on the team with two bigs. We want to see it, but we want to see it in spurts. We didn't want to start the game. Like, what is the issue with Stephanie White and Lexi Hall? Can somebody tell me that? We play better with Lexi. Guess what? I was watching. We started the game. We started out running, and I was like, "Yo, it's not sustainable." My wife's like, "Wow." I was like, "It's not sustainable." I was like, why? Because listen, they've never played together. That's not a lineup that they have any familiarity with. That's a lineup where you need to make a quick run. Let me get the speed on the team. And then she still did it wrong to me. I feel like you should do it. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna run Lexi at the 4 and run Aaliyah at the 5. But now there's no cohesion in the team. A starting lineup we never seen. Right? And to be honest, and I'm telling y'all, listen, y'all not listening to me. And I'm trying, y'all are listening, and I appreciate you listening. Please hit the like and subscribe. But I am so frustrated. That Arri McDonald got the most. Listen, this is how much I'm telling you guys that Christy, I was starting to call the lady Christy Size. That Stephanie Christie Size White, it loves Arri McDonald. Arri McDonald played more than anybody else on the team today. And she had the highest minus of anybody on the team. At a -20. She was 1 for 7. She was 2 for 9, 1 for 7 for 3, shot 22%. 14%. She played 27 minutes. But she got 27. She played the most minutes on anybody on the team. She was taking Caitlin to call, and I was like, well, where's Colson? Where you're taking Caitlin out. Where's any type of cohesiveness? How are you gonna get any type of camaraderie within the lineup if you keep changing the lineups? It really seems like she's just throwing stuff out there to try what happens. And that's why we didn't get Tontis until the second half. The commentators will sit there saying, isn't Tontis available? I know y'all gonna say, oh, they blaming the coach. No. We're actually looking objectively. Caitlin has to play better. Let's start there. Caitlin has to play better, right? She has to shoot better. It will come in time. She's also not had any type of consistency. She's playing one day, she's out the next game. She's hurt. Half the games she hasn't played with these the teammates, which makes no sense. Which also makes no sense for Stephanie White to do what she's doing, because guess what? When they were down, they scored with like 3 minutes without scoring, right? The Stephanie White has the bright idea, hey, let me put in last year's lineup. Huh? We're going to play Caitlin actually at the 1. She's going to play the point. We're going to run Caitlin, Kelsey Mitchell,